Okay, well, welcome. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Just, what's your name and what do you do?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeannette Paxia, and I'm a women's empowerment coach.
Perfect, perfect. And in just a few words, could you tell us like what's the name of your specialty or if you have a modality that you'd really like to highlight today?
I work mostly with women to empower them. So, women who've been bullied at work, empowering them to be successful in life and business.
Hmm, gotcha, gotcha. Um, Kind of sort of answers the next question, but let me ask it anyway in case you want to answer it in a different way. And that is,
Okay.
who do you love working with? Who loves working with you?
I love working with women who have really lost self-confidence because of being bullied, and I hope to help them create success in their life. But I think it's important to have success in life and business. So that balance.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so for the next couple of questions, let's really dig into them a little bit more. So can you
Okay.
tell us why you're passionate about the work that you do? And is there a story maybe behind the empowerment work that you do?
Absolutely. I was bullied, well, for 4 years as a child. And then when I was working at a hospital, was bullied for 3 years there. And I was bullied by other women. So sixty percent of the people that are bullied at work are women, but 33% of the people that bully them are also women. So really working with those people and helping the bullies and the bullied. And I think a lot of times that the bullies are they have low self-confidence too. So it's working with that confidence, building that in both of them so that we can support each other. Because I think it's really important for everybody to support other people, but also women to support women and not compete or bully them. It's sad that we don't support each other as much as we should. So
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw a thing in the news about an actress who was just saying something about a female producer who criticized her or whatever, and she was saying that this idea of women helping women in Hollywood is actually not true, that actually women aren't that nice to women in Hollywood.
and I think it really is because they have low self-confidence. So they to protect themselves that they're going to lash out, and a confident woman is going to support another woman, whereas somebody who's not as confident may not be supportive of because they're jealous and they think that they're not as good as them, so they're going to show off by being rude and mean and
Right.
bullying. So, and I was bullied by 5 women at this job. So
Wow.
it was a team of one man and 5 women, and the women, and then me, and the women targeted me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So I'm wondering if you can give us a story or an exercise that kind of like helps to illustrate or helps to kind of show us the power of your work and help people to understand like what is so powerful about what you do for women.
the power is in helping that woman create success for her life so that a lot of times when we don't have that self-confidence, we hold ourselves back from success. So maybe we've gotten to a certain point at our job or our career or, for an entrepreneur, but we haven't made it past that point. We've kind of
Mhm.
stopped ourselves. So creating that success so that they also become more financially successful, are able to help more people. But the thing that I really love, because I also love working with children and empowering them, that's my give back, is working with children, is if that person has children or has any influence on children, and then her spouse or significant other, you not only learn for you, but you learn for them. So we're creating generations of people with more self-confidence who learn how to handle situations, who learn how to handle themselves in situations. Because believe it or not, your children are watching you and what you do, and they see when you're stressed and you're not successful and you're having trouble. I mean, I would come home from work crying,
Mm.
and they would see that. They see it. Whether you do that in your room or whatever, they see it. But then they saw me become more powerful. And the funny thing is, a lot of times, even if I say something and I may be down for a minute, They share with me what I've taught them. Well, wait a second, mom, it doesn't really matter what they think of you. And so it's sharing that generational legacy, because I think it's important to leave that legacy with the generations that are coming behind you. So it's creating a success for you, creating success for the people that you influence.
Hmm. And is there a process that you take women through, or a certain exercises that you do with them, or is this just all through sort of coaching and seeing where people are at?
Coaching and masterminds, I think there's a power behind masterminds, because it's not only what I know, but the other people know in there. And a lot of times they have good advice too. But just working, you have to, when I coach personally, one-on-one, it's really assessing where they're at now, because not everybody's going to start the same way. And I'm able to really assess where they're at and then help them move forward with tools. But those tools are going to depend on where they're at in the process. So then
Mm,
I'm going to tailor it to them. So that's the one-on-one coaching. But I love masterminds and the power of masterminds, because I think it's really important to, I think the people that are on those masterminds are the people that are supposed to be on there. And they
mm,
collaborate together in such a magical way, helping each other and
mm,
supporting each other. And you become more powerful and more confident, the more you can help others, the more you can suggest. So that whole power of a mastermind is important too. So I do both. I do group coaching. I do a lot of speaking for
mm.
events.
I'm wondering if maybe you have a client story that you can relate to give us an example. You can, make it anonymous, but, something to give us an idea of the power of going through one of your programs.
I'm going to give you a client story, but I'm going to give you a client story of a child, and just because this is one of the most powerful things that I've ever experienced. That is one of the
Mm,
things I use when I speak. Um, so I went to a school and I was speaking, and I dress as Wonder Woman for the kids. Sometimes for the women too. It just depends on the event.
uh,
And a lot of everything I do is based on superheroes. And I was at this event, and afterwards, I was in a classroom, and I asked, I said, "Can someone share with me one thing that you learned?" And it was like you could hear a pin drop. It was really quiet. And this
mm,
is third graders. And I'm like, oh boy. The teacher's watching me and the principal's watching me to see if they want to bring the program to their school, because I do fundraising programs at schools. And again, I ask, and this little girl behind me, she's really quiet, and she says, "I learned that it doesn't matter what other people think of me. It only matters what I think of me. And I'm not going to allow them to bully me." So, I turn around, I look at her, I get her level, and she was like all nervous and really quiet and just holding her friend's hand. And afterwards, the teacher came up to me and said she's had a lot of trauma in her life and she's not spoken in class for months. And
wow.
she was the one that spoke, and like I have chills, but just she was the one that was able to come up, and you could tell that she learned. I mean, she was still nervous and she was still, and if I could bring that power to kids, and I could bring that power to parents, and women, and really just standing in their power and knowing that they're worth it, and creating that confidence for them, then I'm doing what I set out to do. So that it's my favorite story. It's not one of the women,
Hmm. Hmm.
but it is my favorite story. I mean, I've also helped women in shelters, move through that process, stand in their strength and power. So, I've worked with different women, and just seeing them become more successful. And I can't think of one client story for that, but just more successful and more powerful on their own, and creating that success. And maybe it was, someone who was working a job and then went out on her own as an entrepreneur and was successful. But I've worked with a lot of people through the years. But
Hmm.
that's my favorite story, that little girl.
So I'm curious. it- I can see how like overcoming bullying in your own life was very important for you.
Mhm.
But was there some particular incident or some encouragement that you got that made you decide like, oh, this is my life's work. This is what I want to dedicate my life to now?
Um, so when I was a child, and I was bullied for 4 years as a child, I was beat up, I was kicked, I was hit, I was spit on for years.
Mm,
Um, and I couldn't, through that process, I couldn't hear what anybody was telling me.
mm,
All I could do was be in my experience. And I learned a lot of tools then. But after that, my father, big Italian guy, Vito was his name.
Hmm.
He said, "What do you care what they think about you?" That was after I left the school. And I don't know,
Mhm.
it just hit me like, what do I care? Why do I care what they think? They're not, anybody important in my life. But when I was in the moment, I couldn't really move forward. And so I created tools for myself at that time. I watched Wonder Woman, Linda Carter on TV. She was so
Yeah.
powerful. She was created to bring peace to the world, which my name means God's gift of peace, Jeannette Paxia. And so that was something for me. But I took that and I really built those tools. Then when I was an adult and I went back to work and I was bullied and I was bullied at work and I'm like, here I go again. But I had forgotten all those tools.
Mhm.
So I had to reconnect back to all of those as what I had done as a child. So it took me some time. I came home, like I said, crying for a while. I complained to my husband. I was just like, I can't do this. I can't go in there. And then I was reminded of what I did as a child, and I went back through that process again for
Mhm.
myself. So probably the biggest moment in my life was when I heard my dad say that. I'm sure he said it a
Mhm.
million times before then, but I actually heard them. He's very loud. We talk with our hands, as you can see. And he's like, what do
Yeah.
you care? What do you care what they think about you? Um, and I heard it, and we don't always hear. It's like the lesson. What do they say? When the student is ready, they'll hear the teacher. Whatever that
The teacher
that
will
saying
appear. Yeah.
is. But I was ready to hear it, and I created success for myself. I became popular after that. I became,
Mhm.
I was able to change my whole trajectory in school and in life. But I had to remind myself of that path. We forget, we move on and life hits us and we need those teachers again
Yeah. Yeah.
to be there for
Absolutely.
us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, if people listening want to learn more about you and your work, where can they go to find more information? How can they find you?
I'm all over social media, but PAX Coach, PAXcoach.com. And then my children's give back is innersuperhero.org, INNER, superhero.org. And then for that, I do fundraising for schools. PAX Coach
Wonderful.
has a list of my masterminds and, etc.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, if you were speaking to one of your colleagues, a fellow coach, or someone else you know, and you wanted to tell them about the Evolutionary Business Council, what would you say to them about the EBC and why they should join?
EBC is a group of people that really are welcoming. And not only are they there to welcome you in to their community, but they're there to help you succeed through teaching, through events, through the meetings. It's not weekly, but the meetings that we have and the connections. So we are able to connect with other people who are like-minded. I
Mhm.
thought that was really important for me to be somewhere that's like-minded. I'm a little woo-woo, and not everybody accepts woo-woo. And I
Yeah.
feel like I can say that I'm woo-woo in this, and it's
Yeah.
fine. But everybody that I've met is very welcoming and very much wants to honestly help you succeed. I mean, I
Mhm.
really like the connections. I look forward to hopefully going to an in-person event. I got sick right before the last one and
Oh,
did it online, but I would love to, be in person and just meet and hug everybody. But it is very welcoming. And I have told people about it. I've shared with a few people.
wonderful.
So
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I really hope you can make the annual retreat in San Diego in March. It would be great to meet you in person there.
yes, I hope to, and I've been to the studio and I just love the
Ah,
studio, and
okay.
I hope to be there in person too.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, one last bonus question.
Okay.
So what kind of challenge do your clients typically encounter that they think is just normal that before working with you that really shouldn't be normal for them?
They accept that people don't treat them well at work, and they accept that as it's part of the job. It's part of, being a woman. It's part of what you need to go through. And I think that it's too widely accepted, and that needs to change. It's
Hmm.
not okay to treat people that way.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
Any final words maybe for the women out there before we conclude?
Remember, self-care is so very, very important. So take some time for yourself too. You cannot help others if you're not helping yourself, even if it's just starting with 5 minutes a day. Trust me, I know we balance a lot, but it's very important to take that time for yourself too.
Mhm. Okay, wonderful.